This is the first chapter. We will talk about the free virtualization software VBox, how to create a VBox, define the disk space and memory, and on the second part of this video we will show you how to configure this VBox, like the network settings and graphics.
Garrett, now we are in the VM box. I can see you have created already some virtual machines for experimenting.
Yes, I did.
Let's create a new one to show how we can do this.
Okay, there is a wizard. A wizard you can start with exactly with this button new. This is the welcome window. Let's go on. There you can give your new virtual machine a name and choose the operating system. We want to use Linux. You have here the choice of different one. We want to use Linux and we want to use a Ubuntu distribution.
Memory for the virtual machine. How much would you recommend?
I would recommend you 1024 megabyte. Be careful, you have always to be in the green line because the red one, it can cause troubles with the host machine.
Very good. Virtual hard disk. I can say create new hard disk, use existing one. What do we do?
We want to create a new hard disk. The use existing hard disk is for migrating from one machine to another one, where you can copy the virtual machine file to this machine and connect it. But we want to move on with create a new hard disk because we want to create a new virtual machine from scratch.
Very good, let's do it.
Okay, there you have the choice of different file concepts in with virtual machines, but we want to go with the native of the virtual box, the VDI file.
VDI file. Next we can choose dynamically allocated or fixed size?
Yeah, okay, we want to go with dynamically allocated because we maybe create a big virtual machine, and so if it's fixed size it will cover a lot of disk space on our host machine.
Right, now we have the disk size. It recommends 8 GB. I think this is not enough for us.
Yeah, it depends on what you do, but I recommend strongly to give more, just for instance 60 gigs, because changing the disk size afterwards is quite a hassle.
Let's create it.
Okay.
Okay, I can see we get a summary. It looks alright. And we have to confirm. Very nice. We got a new virtual machine. Garrett, in our virtual machine we can define a couple of settings, isn't it?
Yes, you can, but first you have to click on the virtual machine and then go to settings. Okay, here we have an array of settings. Let's go to the system. Here you can see the virtual motherboard settings like memory, floppy disk and so on. The next folder is processor. You can see how many processors you have. Depends on your host processor, how many cores it has. And let's go on to acceleration. You can see here enable VTX. This is the hardware support of the virtual machines, but depends on the CPU you have. Some CPUs don't support this, like this machine we have. So we should switch it off if the CPU is not supporting it.
Alright, storage. Before we were talking about the storage, the virtual hard disk. Here we can find a couple of settings.
Okay, here we have some information like the virtual size. It's 60 gigabytes as we defined. At this moment we didn't install anything, so it's very small. It's about 244 kilobytes. And location shows you where the hard disk physically is on the host disk. Yeah. And the IDE controller just shows there you can connect a DVD and disk drive or an ISO file. Okay, let's move on to network.
Very good. Network. So here we can define how the virtual machine is talking to the host or to the network. We have two different settings. One is the bridged adapter, which means we share the physical network adapter from the host. Both get an independent IP address, which is very good if I'm in the network and I'm running the virtual machine in operation. If I'm experimenting and I'm not in the network, I can use the net settings. And how does the virtual machine communicate with the host? Basically, we have to tell the host and the virtual machine which ports are used in the virtual machine. So we have to define a port forwarding, but we will hear this later when we really configure the web server in the virtual machine.
Okay, yeah. These are the most important settings, and now let's move on installing Ubuntu.